Eldlich is back in Master Duel. Look at this beautiful golden boy. I know they took away our card. They took away our homie, our Conquistador. Now we only have one left. These two, they're gone. What will we do without him? But don't fear, because at the same time we got a new card. This new boy. So while Conk being gone, you know, it hurts quite a little bit. These guys being here instead kind of makes up for it. So today we're gonna go over my new Master Duel deck right here, Eldlich. Papa is back, and the ladder will not be safe. Now note, in the extra deck, there's a few cards missing. Again, you're usually just going to use this for Pot of Extravagance, so it doesn't really matter. When I play this on ladder, I just get rid of these 3 slots and I put in some garbage. It doesn't really matter. But ideally, you do have some more of this, you know, some Pleiades, some of this. But again, those are like the little details, Who cares? It's the main deck here that really matters when it comes to Eldlich. Also, let me know in the comments down below if you want to see a more zombie heavy version, because I could make that as well. I could also make a budget version if you want. And very soon we are getting the Brave support, which will also make a really interesting new Eldlich deck. So let me know in the comments which you want to see, but right now let's go over the current iteration. As you can see, we only have one Conquistador anymore, but that's okay. So we start off with triple Lava Golem. As you can see, this list is not using any hand traps, and that is because the current decks that we're really afraid of, especially Sword Soul, actually plays through a hand trap really easily. So while you waste one card like an Ash or something, or a Veiler on one of their cards, they still end up on almost the same board, and then you have less cards to deal with that board, and again, nothing changed. Beyond that, we still have Drytron and stuff like that, and they can play through hand traps pretty well as well. Overall, being able to just outboards like crazy with Lava Golem right now feels much better. I really think that the Sword Soul being so dominant on the ladder at least shifted it even more in Lava Golem's favor. You just tribute their board, here's a Lava Golem, enjoy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Next we have 2 Eldlich the Golden Lord. I think 2 is still correct. 3 can get a little bricky. 1 is very brave when people are playing Called By and so forth. So 2 feels just right. Then we have 2 of the new card, Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Now since it's a new card, let's go over it. During your main phase, you can activate this effect. This card in your hand becomes revealed until the end of your opponent's turn. So basically you go first, you show this card, and now your opponent knows you have it, but it then has an effect. While this card is revealed by this effect, set cards on the field cannot be destroyed by card effects. So you have all those beautiful traps. Again, we have them right here. All those beautiful traps are set. They want to use something like a Harpy's Feather Duster, a Twin Twister, a Lightning Storm. Who cares? None of that works on them for now. Now, do note, we also are running quite some Floodgates, and once you flip those up, those are no longer protected. So you do have to kind of think now. Like, you can't just go, oh, activate Skill Drain in the standby phase, because now you've made it vulnerable. It's much better to wait till your opponent does something, because they have been protected by the Lord the whole time, and then you flip that Skill Drain when they already have something on board. Now their Lightning Storm does nothing anymore, and you've basically like disrupted their plays before they can actually wipe anything. So you kind of have to think with this card, but overall it's not too hard, and again, that protection is just insane. Now, if a set spell or trap is activated, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then, if you activated this effect while this card was revealed, you can reveal and set one spell or trap directly from your deck, but banish it during the end phase of the next turn. So basically, this then turns itself into a really big body, so it's easier to OTK than ever before, and it then also replaces itself into like a new spell or trap, which you then actually have to use instantly, or well, close to instant. Overall, this card is like the most insane back row support ever. In the TCG, it's not that noticeable right now because it's not a very back row friendly format, but overall, this card is insane. And of course, here in Master Duel, where people don't even have a side deck to deal with the back row, this card is just incredible. Though still at 2 because again, it can get bricky. As you notice, we're running quite a high count of monsters that don't really do anything, you know, unless you also have your spells and traps going. Then we have triple Pot of Extravagance. Again, this just starts drawing you cards. Some people are also running like more pots to really get into their traps. That's possible if you want to run something like a Prosperity or something, or anything along those lines, you absolutely can. But I personally find Extravagance just so unfair that I would rather always use this rather than anything else. Next, we have Eldlich of Black Awakening, just as a one-off because it does get a bit bricky, but this can get your Golden Lord out on the field. 2 Cursed Eldland, this just searches you anything. It's at 2 now. It's semi-limited, but I wouldn't really run 3 anyway, at least not in this, format, this type of deck. Then we have triple Torrential Tribute. This is just a board wipe. This card has been alive since 2004. Labyrinth of Nightmare, I think. Wow. Old ass card, still really good. Of course it dies to a negate, but a lot of boards don't actually make negates, or you use it before their combo is completely finished, so they haven't made a negate just yet. Overall, just a very unfair card that trades with a bunch of stuff. Next, we have Dimensional Barrier. Now, Dimensional Barrier has been in the game for a while, but it wasn't that good up till now, I want to say. I'd say, once again, with Sword Soul being added to the game, it kind of shifted in our favor here. This card says, declare 1 monster card type, Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Pendulum, and for the rest of this turn, neither player can special summon monsters of the declared type, also negate the effects of all monsters of that type while they are on the field. So in the TCG right now, this is being used to nuke Despia and Sword Soul, as well as sometimes Punk if you call Synchro and so forth, but here in Master Duel, it kinda sucked for a long time. Too many decks were Link summoning and so forth, and this card does nothing against the Link summon. However, now that we have Sword Soul in the mix once again, the odds of you being able to do something useful with Dimensional Barrier have really gone up. Against Sword Soul, you activate this, you call Synchro, and their entire deck is basically vanilla, except for the tennies. Against Drytron, you call Ritual, and they're also not very happy. Against certain decks, of which you know they have a Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, you can flip this and call Fusion. Now, of course, trading this one card for one card isn't as exciting as, floodgating a Sword Soul out of the game, but DPE is still an incredible boss, and so being able to get rid of it with this one card, or at least, it not coming to the field, or at least being delayed one turn, still makes this really, really solid. Now, you could argue, if you notice during your climb to Diamond 1, which you can do with this deck very easily, that, oh, I'm not really using this card much, I'm noticing I face a lot of weirder other decks, then sure, go right ahead and don't run it, or maybe run it only at 2, so you don't really clog your hand with it too easily, but I do think it's pretty solid right now. Next, we have Eldlich of Scarlet Sanguine. This card is, of course, our Eldlich, the Golden Lord Searcher, and then gets us searching into other cards, like our one of Golden Land Conquistador right here. Very sad. Then triple Solemn Judgment, of course, an incredible negate absolutely everything. And of course, also, if you don't have your Heavenly Prison and your opponent is maining Lightning Storm for some reason, Solemn Judgment that, and now you're safe and ready to go. Then we have 1 Solemn Strike. I do know some people like to run more of this, but I just don't want to play too many Solemns. I know, ironic. You could definitely, run more if you have more. I also only have 1 Strike, by the way, so would I run more if I had more? Maybe I would swap 1 barrier for a 2nd Strike, I guess, maybe. It's not that big of a deal either. Next, we have 1 Golden Land Forever, basically a Solemn Judgment, but for the Eldlich archetype. Of course, not as good as Solemn Judgment, that would be insane, but still really, really good. Next, the I Win button, Imperial Order. You just say, no spells, please, against my trap deck, Lamao. So if you draw this, very often you will auto-win. Also, very soon, we will be getting the Brave Engine, and this card will become even better in this game. So just be aware of that. Imperial Order, very powerful card. Next, we have Skill Drain. This is the card everyone hates, including me. It's not a fun card, but you flip it, and your opponent basically doesn't get to do anything. All the monster effects are turned off, and all the best decks right now are, based around monster effects. So really, really powerful. Next, we have 2 Summon Limit. I also have 1 Royal Finish. Oh, beautiful. Basically reduces the amount of summons that can happen. And since this deck is a trap deck, it doesn't really care about that, but your opponent, which is probably a combo deck, they do care. Next, we have Gozen Match at 2. If you want Rivalry of the Warlords instead, you could, but I like this. It says each player can only control 1 attribute of monsters, send all other face-up monsters they control to the graveyard. So you flip this, and a lot of decks just can't play anymore, while you just gradually attack them either with the Lord of the Heavenly Prison or the Golden Lord. Next, 1 Guardian. This card has been in the game for a while, but it sucked too much ass to play. However, since our beautiful Conquistador was limited to 1, I think there's an argument for running 1 copy of this, just so we have another Golden Land name. Is it very good? No, not really. It's a special summon this card as a normal monster. It's a zombie light, level 8, 800 attack, 2500 defense, so it's kind of a wall. And then if you control Eldlich, the Golden Lord, you can make the attack of one phase-up monster on the field become 0. You know, it's not the greatest, but hey, it can randomly out something still. You know, where we used to use our Conquistador to just blow something up, this thing can still make a monster have 0 attack and then attack into it itself. Is it a more roundabout, annoying way? Sure. Is it as good? No. But it's an extra name, and you know, we can't play 4 Huaquero. It's impossible. So for that reason, I'm trying this out right now. Let me know how you are finding it as well. Next, we have triple Huaquero. We used to play this at 2, but now that we have, you know, Golden Lands limited here, our boy, I will say this so many times in this deck profile, this card, this beautiful, beautiful boy. So now we play triple Huaquero instead. It's still a decent card. A lot of decks don't like their stuff being banished from grave, especially this deck itself. So in the mirror, that is also pretty solid. But overall, it's fine. It's still okay. And then finally, our one-off, our Conquistador of the Golden Land. May he rest in peace. This is just, you know, destruction. Really, really powerful card. I honestly thought that with this card at 1, Eldlich would get much, much, much worse. And while it did get worse for sure, you really have to watch out when you use this card now. I think the Lord of the Heavenly Prison makes it just slightly better to still justify playing the deck on ladder. In my opinion, it is still a really solid deck, and a lot of people will still simply scoop to a skill drain. And also, because of this hit, a lot of people aren't playing Eldlich anymore, so anyone who was still main decking stuff like Lightning Storm and Twin Twister and so forth have basically switched off that. So now this deck actually got better in a weird way as well. Again though, there's a lot of other different versions of the deck you can run. I'm super excited for that, so if you want to see that, like a zombie world version, the brave version is coming out very soon, like a grass is greener combo type deal, maybe the budget version. Again, let me know in the comments down below, and also let me know if you want to see me climb with this 2 Diamond one on stream. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.